Who am I, a average American Jew boy, human being who calls himself a movie critic, to say that this was such a fantastic year for film? 2023 was so fucking amazing for film. I didn't even get to fucking see all the films in this year. I'm talking about the big ones, like the ones that I should have saw. And it's gonna suck because I'm gonna put in the intro some like clips of certain films from their trailers, and it's gonna make you think which ones didn't he fucking see. You'll know by the time the end of this, but it's just like, damn, what a year for film. I believe we're back in the glory days of when films were so successful in the box office and also by critics. I feel like we're back in the glory days where Hollywood heavyweight films are just back at its original form. They're doing great successfully, making the monies and whatnot. But I also think this was such also a great year for independent films. It was such a great year for random films you didn't expect to be like successful, you know. And if we're really talking about it, this was such a great year to have two films come out at the same time and they both literally hit 1 billion. Like what? That's never been seen before. I can't even name you a time that's ever happened before. This year alone was so fucking insane for films that it gets you worked up a little bit. It gets me worked up a little bit because I love movies and I love going to the movie theater. And I went to the movie theater a lot. And again, I missed out on a lot of films and it sucks. It really sucks. I could go back to this list, redo this list maybe a couple of years from now down the line once I see all these films I want to see and probably put it out for you. I probably will. But until then, let's get down to the brass taxes and let me talk about my top 10 best films of 2023. Come with me and you'll see I enjoy the movie Wonka. Timothy Chalamet, he's okay, but he did a fucking fantastic job as Willy Wonka. I probably should never go to musical theaters ever again. Or ever. I never did. Yeah. Wonka was such a great movie. I enjoyed it. My coworker enjoyed it. I feel like I don't know as much as what she loved about it, but from my perspective, I thought it was a great film. I said it before. Timothy Chalamet did a great job in the role as Willy Wonka. It felt genuine. And his portrayal was it was so fantastic. The rest of the cast, they were good. I feel like they left moments that were pretty much memorable. Obviously, if you take one of them out, it'd be fine, but it's whatever. The musical aspects, I didn't expect this movie to be a musical. Did not know this movie was going to be a musical from the trailers. So, yay. I'm happy that one surprised me. But I loved all the musical aspects about it. Definitely wasn't singing Pure Imagination when I left the theater. Definitely didn't buy a popcorn bucket for me and my coworker to share. That was $30, and I'm holding that popcorn bucket to this day. It's a hat of Wonka's. Definitely didn't do that. But in the end of the day, I really did enjoy this movie. Like, I feel like this movie doesn't get enough love because yeah, it was memed heavily because of fucking Timothy Chalamet, and a lot of people are haters out there. But this was such a good movie. Like, I don't know, I'll probably get a little bit of hate putting it number 10, but that's just because there were a lot of films I didn't get to see. So this was like my obvious like choice. This is also the last movie I saw of the year, so I feel like in the theaters. I feel like this movie deserved to be on this list. But yeah, I really loved Wonka and kind of want a sequel actually. I don't know. I'm on the fence with it, but maybe one day. I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like while this movie is great and it is fucking great, don't ever fucking disrespect this movie. It's so underrated and it's not getting enough love. Like, bro, this was Pixar's like best movie since Soul. Like, and most successful film since Toy Story 4. If you don't include streaming numbers on Disney Plus and look at past the critic reviews, but the box office numbers, it gained money and it took some time, but it gained money. I thought it was such a fucking great film. I love the animation. I love the voice casting. I love the music and the score. It was just there's so much in this movie that I thought was beautiful that I don't understand why it doesn't get talked about enough. The movie is about connecting with someone whom you wouldn't expect to connect with and how it will change how we view other people. And we've seen this obviously in Zootopia, but seeing it with elements is a little bit different because there's only 4 elements that were used in this. I mean, 2 more, but I mean, come on. But the message in this film it's very powerful and it touched my heart. I love the animation. I said that before. There were a couple scenes in the film that I couldn't stop thinking of because of how beautiful it looked and how powerful it was. I love the original song "Steal the Show" by Luav. I think that's how he says his name. I don't know. Such a beautiful melody and it tells such a great story. Um, I feel like this movie, like I said, I feel like this movie should be talked about more. It's Pixar. Pixar is known for being the probably at this point the best animated production company. You know, Disney has fallen off, and Pixar I feel like could carry its weight without Disney. And Elemental, it's such a great fucking film that it's just it needs more love and appreciation. Go watch it. It's on Disney Plus if you haven't seen it. Like, what are you waiting for? Come on, guys. Go see Elemental. I remember seeing the trailer for Air and just wanting to witness it in the theater. And while I didn't get to, Amazon Prime came up clutch for free. Yay, thank you. And it was incredible. It was fucking incredible. You know, telling us a story about how 2 men who worked in the Nike shoes company, I hope I get that right, made a risky deal for a rookie to be the sponsor of their next big shoe. Make a shoe around him. Who would have thought Michael Jordan would have been as successful as he was? Air was so fucking great. The cast of this film, incredible. Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Viola Davis, Ben Affleck, everyone else that I missed, they were all incredible. The writing in this movie was incredible. But the interesting thing about this movie was the marketing and advertising aspect. I fucking loved all of it in this. And you know, this movie kind of gives me an idea of saying we all have ideas in our lifetime, but in order to make them a reality, we need to pitch them and make them become real. That's what this movie did, and it makes you believe in yourself, you know? I love that this film literally centered on Nike's most famous shoe, made its center plot centered around their biggest spokesperson. And it wasn't even the story itself for that. It was the story centered around that story that made this movie fantastic. This is literally great work of filmmaking. And there's nothing I could say better than that. Air was a smart film, and it was done in the utmost proper way. It wasn't a big box office success, but you know what? It fucking deserves some big Oscar noms. That's all I'm fucking saying. This was a fantastic film. Go watch it if you haven't. If you made it this far into the list, this is the heavyweights time. This is the big movies. And this is the movie that left me speechless while leaving the theater. Killers of the Flower Moon took a long look at how the members of the Osage Nation were brutally killed. And this movie was graphic. This movie opened my eyes and it made me think about life now and how we see the world. There are many crimes and killings happening in the world as of right now. There's so much bad shit going on in Palestine, in Israel, Ecuador. There's so much shit going on. And we're not given the light. And while we aren't fully aware of what's going on, we have a good sense of what is happening in this world. And this movie opened my eyes to it a bit. This movie opened my eyes to the hate that comes from people. The hate, the killings that happen to innocent people. I don't mean to get political in that point in this part of the video, but I just wanted to share that with you, you know. But Killers of the Flower Moon, this movie helped me open my eyes a bit. And it's based on a true story. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, they do a fucking fantastic job. Good for them. Lily Gladstone, MVP GOAT performance, Oscar awards. She won her Golden Globe. Give her every fucking award. Give her a Kids' Choice Award. Fuck. Scorsese, He's at it again, kills it. Great director, greatest of all time. We get it. The movie itself showed us why us people need to fucking wake up to reality. You know, this movie showed how white folk take money to be rich from colored people. That's what it did. But it opened my eyes to the world itself. And as a white man, I find it very horrible what was done to these beautiful, innocent people. And I couldn't even go to the levels that they did to make a fucking dime. This film was such a fantastic film. It should be watched by many so they could learn a thing or two. I don't even know what else to say, guys. It's such a powerful film, and it made me really think. And the fact that I saw this a few hours before I had to go to work, and going to work like with my head fucking like in the clouds, like, oh my god, the world is fucked up. Yeah, that's how much of a fucking impact it left for me. It was so great, such a fucking fantastic film. I fucking loved it. John Wick Chapter 4 was such an incredible way to end the John Wick franchise. Apparently, it's not ending. There's supposed to be a fifth movie on the horizon. But I think this was a great send-off for Mr. John Wick himself. This movie left you speechless. It left you with wanting more. The action, the kills, the cinematography, the insane moments. Keanu Reeves, mwah! Once again kills it as John Wick. The rest of the cast is amazing, but Keanu Reeves fucking carries this fucking movie. I love the cinematography and action in this movie. I've mentioned it before, much as I've said it. I love the action cinematography. It took me a second to really fucking be like, it took me this long to see this movie in the theater. I'm fucking pissed I never saw a John Wick movie until now in the theaters. In IMAX. It was so fucking great. There was a scene in this movie that it felt like a video game, and it was like a long shot, and the way it was shot was just incredible, and I don't want to talk about it too much. I just want y'all to go see this movie because I don't want to spoil anything. The music in this movie, oh my god, the film's music and score was fucking lit. I love Blood Code, but A Long Way Down by La Castlevania was a vibe. La Castlevania's a vibe. This whole soundtrack's a vibe. I will say one thing: the pacing in a couple of scenes could use a bit of edit, but that's just a nitpick for me. Either way, the film's incredible. It's so much about this movie that I love that I can't explain because I don't want to spoil it. It's so fucking good. I loved it. I love John Wick Chapter 4. I love movies like this. They just keep me going and wanting more, and I want more John Wick, even though I don't. Such a great movie. So I didn't expect this movie to be on my list when I first heard about it coming out. And I saw it in theaters 3 different times. Saw it with my sibling. Saw it with my boy Anthony. And I saw it with my coworker Eileen. And each time it got better and better. I might have bought a hoodie from the movie. And I loved it. I love this movie. I can't argue. This movie is so fucking great. Greta Gerwig did a fantastic job. It's actually my first Greta Gerwig movie I ever watched, so maybe I'll watch others. I don't know. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, the rest of the cast, they did great. You know, the music, the score, the costume design, the setting, they all were so fucking fantastic. I love this movie. I see why it deserved $1 billion+ in the box office, why it gets all these critical acclaims. And the story and the message in this movie is so powerful and emotional. For me, it's accept who you are and fuck the patriarchy. Yeah, that's what I got out of it. Others might get something out of it that's different. But for me, that's what I got out of it. This movie won me over, and it's a home run. I feel like I'm forgetting something why I love this movie so much. Oh yeah, I'm just Ken. I fucking love Ken so much. He was my favorite thing in this movie. Not really, but still. I'm just Ken. I fucking love the song so much that I played it about 1 billion times on Spotify. I bought a Knuff hoodie because I am Knuff. Yeah, I might have became Ken crazy after the film. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, love this movie. On to the next one. There is something about the Iron Claw that made me feel broken in the end. I knew about the Von Erich family and the tragedy that was centered around the name, but seeing it in a full-length feature film and seeing the tragedies unfold in front of my eyes broke me. I got to see the movie a week early, which was lit, but that doesn't change the fact how much I love the movie. Zac Efron's performance, Oscar-worthy. Jeremy Allen White and Holt McClanahan, the whole cast, incredible. As a professional wrestling fan, I truly enjoyed how deep they went into showing the basics of wrestling, but also what it's like backstage and explaining a couple of concepts. You know, this movie was a love letter to wrestling, but it also was a way to show the achievements and sudden tragedies of one of the most famous wrestling families, the Von Erichs. The film is more than your average wrestling film, as it really cuts deep into the heartstrings, as every time you think a sad, tragic moment is over, another one has happened, and it just gets you so emotional, and I love how well it worked for this film, as many people going to see this movie are wrestling fans, but the ones who aren't, and are just here to see the film, will be given a roller coaster of emotions from beginning to end. The last 15 to 20 minutes alone hit me so hard, and I began to shed tears. I don't want to spoil the film, obviously, but I will say for someone who has lost multiple family members in unfortunate ways, from my grandmother to cancer to my father to ALS, I truly feel the burden of losing the people you care about and how much it hits you the older you get. I lost my dad in 2022, and to this day, I still wish he was here, and all I could think about is being with him right now. And this film just, it really put me into that world of just missing somebody and how much you're gonna miss them in the end. You know, this film is a true example of making art onto a piece of paper and it becoming perfection gazed by many eyes. I truly recommend this film. So please go see this movie. Please have tissues ready because you're gonna need them. Because Iron Claw is just a beautiful, perfect film. I didn't think we could get a better film than Into the Spider-Verse. Then again, it's your opinion which one's better. I feel like Across the Spider-Verse is simply just as, possibly even better than Into the Spider-Verse. But it was fucking perfect. It has perfection written all over it. And that's easily said than done, but this film did everything right and had nothing wrong. From the music to the action sequences, the voice acting, the on point comedic moments that make your belly laugh or have you in tears. Everything from the script to the story to the characters was phenomenal. Metro Boomin, your soundtrack was lit. Might have heard it 100 times, but it was lit. Um, just everything about it, man. The score was so fucking great. It's a home run, man. You know, this movie did everything fucking right. This movie gave a fucking side story for Gwen Stacy and made her kind of feel like the star of the show at one point. It's the spot. The spot of all villains was badass. Spider-Man 2099, badass. He's a perfect opposite for Miles. Miles Morales was beautiful in this fucking movie. Or I guess Shamik Moore was beautiful as Miles Morales, but you get my point. Everything about this movie was perfect. I could explain this all day, but I need to write a review on that to do that. Hint, hint. Across the Spider-Verse ended the right way too, making us question what's going to happen, and it's going to have us wait to increase the anticipation. It ends on a cliffhanger if you didn't know. Spoiler. I love this movie so much that I had to see it again in theaters by myself after seeing it with a group of coworkers whom also fell in love with this movie. It has GOAT Whitner all over it. Like, I want someone to disagree with me because they can and they never will. I will argue it to the end of the day. This is probably, if not the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, the greatest comic book movie of all time, and one of the greatest animated movies of all time. it was so fucking great, and I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse whenever it does come out. It was supposed to come out this year, but I mean, at this point, who fucking cares? Take as much time as you want, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, because fucking we need another perfect movie. Guardians of the Galaxy has been a part of my life for 10 years now. I remember seeing the first movie in 2014, falling in love with this team of outcasts. 10 years later, I had to say goodbye to this team that I fell in love with and pretty much became an honorary member of thanks to these films and love for these films, but also being an outcast myself. You know, I never thought I'd cry so much for a film from beginning to end, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 broke me so much that it broke me again the second time I saw it with my coworkers, and then again at home on my computer while watching it to review it, and then the fourth time recently after I brought it on Blu-ray. This film broke me so badly, I got myself in a hole with the soundtrack to literally watching TikToks of clips of the film. The film, this comic book and adapted film, did not have to go so hard into the feels, and yet it did. Everything about this film was perfect, from the story, cinematography, the music, the characters. Every little detail in this film was perfect, and I can't think of one single bad thing about the film. James Gunn does it again with his brilliant little fucking brain. He's so fucking good. I never thought I would want a raccoon after watching a movie, and now I want to hug one and name it Rocket. And Rocket's backstory hit me and destroyed me and broke me. And I'm just emotional about it now because just think of it like this. As someone who's felt alone and lost someone who meant the world to them, this shit fucking hit me hard and I couldn't stop crying at the moment he lost his friend. This movie was perfect to the minute detail. You know, the soundtrack was perfect from Creep to No Sleep Till Brooklyn to the ending song of Dog Days Are Over. Pure perfection and a great send off for the Guardians. I said it in my review, but this movie was just perfect. I said it here and I'll keep saying it. This movie is perfect. I didn't want the movie to end, and when it did, I was fully satisfied. You know, I cried. I cried. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This was hard for me to put a number 2 because there was one point it was my number 1 best movie. This is honestly my favorite movie of the year. But we obviously know what number 1 is. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we are Groot. I left the theater for Oppenheimer, knowing damn well this was the best movie of the year by far. Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said, Volume 3 is my favorite movie this year, or 2023. Oppenheimer is the best movie of the year entirely. Don't let anyone fucking say that it's not, because it fucking is. I had this movie under my radar after I saw a teaser trailer from when I went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home. And since then, I knew nothing about Oppenheimer. I didn't look up anything about this movie. All I wanted to do was see the fucking film on the big screen, and I'm so fucking happy that I did because this movie was perfect. It was perfection. Christopher fucking Nolan. You made The Dark Knight, and you should have got your Best Director award then and there. But you're about to fucking get it for this movie because you fucking made the greatest fucking thing you will ever fucking make in your life. This is your magnum opus, my friend. Cillian Murphy, one of the best actors that never gets his due, finally will get his fucking due. Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt. Fuck Josh Peck pushing a fucking button. The extras twiddling their thumbs in the background. That fucking idiot fucking Rami Malek. I love you in fucking Bohemian Rhapsody. But I loved you here in your little fucking role. Everyone in this movie did amazing. Every single person. Everything about this movie was amazing. The cinematography, the musical score, the lighting, the visual effects, the practical effects. Oh my goodness! This movie is beyond perfection. It's a work of art, a masterpiece. Leonardo da Vinci or frickin' Van Gogh couldn't make this fucking thing on paper. Nolan, however, did. And like I said, I knew nothing about Oppenheimer. I knew nothing about the events of making of this bomb. This movie was beautiful from beginning to end. It's 3 hours long, yes, and I saw this movie twice in theaters. Once in IMAX RPX, once in 70 millimeter IMAX. Worth it. Worth it. The 6 hours of my life gone, worth it. This movie is straight up God like perfection. It's definitely winning the Oscar. It's winning every award. It won the Golden Globe. It deserves it. It's so fucking phenomenal. It's so perfect. This is the greatest movie of 2023 by far. Don't let anyone argue it. Don't let say it's not, because it is.